Blunt Talk with LT, episode 105. This episode's brought to you by StackWap.com. StackWap.com/shop. Use promo code BluntTalk, capital B, capital T, no space. Get 10% off anything in the SGE store. Shout out to my day one subscribers. Shout out to my new subscribers. The channel's growing every day, so continue to subscribe if you watch. Make sure you like, share, and comment on the clips. The sharing is really helping the growth of the clips, so shout out to y'all sharing the clips. Let's jump right into it, though, because we have some new shit popping up. We have Bryan Callen being accused of sexual assault from 4 different allegations randomly. And okay, let me get to his response to it before I give my deep dive on this take, because I want to get into it. So let's get to Bryan Callen responding to the allegations. Here we go.
Hey everybody, Bryan Callen here. You know, when you're in a situation like I am, you get a lot of advice from a lot of different people. And it usually falls into 2 different categories. Either they tell you to post a statement and disappear, or they say lay low and let the news cycle pass you by. Well, for better or for worse, I'm not doing any of that. I never thought in a million years that I'd be sitting here defending myself against something I did not do 21 years ago. So this is me saying that I categorically and absolutely deny all the allegations against me. I wanted you to see me say that. I didn't want to post some stale statement. I wanted you to hear that come out of my mouth. I have been characterized as someone that no one who knows me, not my friends, not my family, not my fans, would ever recognize. And that's because that's not who I am. That is not that's not something I could do. Those are things never the things that I couldn't do. Those are not things that I would ever do. That is not how I have ever lived my life. And by the way, this is not a video about cancel culture. This is not a video, it's certainly not a video about the Me Too movement. I happen to believe, and it's taken me, to be completely honest, it's taken me a while to come to this conclusion, to understand this. I believe that the Me Too movement is one of the most important movements of my lifetime, because for the first time in history, it gives women recourse against the abuse of power. And that makes the world a better place. And that is not a political statement. That's just fair play. And I believe in fair play. But I also believe in due process. And we live in a very strange time where anybody can make an allegation against you and you are guilty until proven innocent. It's just a fact that social media and the press alone can act as judge, jury, and executioner. And I don't think that's good for anybody. And by the way, I don't know how to fix that. I don't think anybody in particular is even to blame. But when something like this happens, this is pretty much the only way you can defend yourself. So this is me standing up and saying that I have been falsely accused of terrible things that I did not do. And that's what I have to say. Thank you for listening. And I want to thank my fans for rallying around me. Your comments mean so much to me. And to be honest with you, I need them right now. I will be taking a leave of absence, obviously, from my podcast. That's pretty much it. So thank you very much. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Okay, before I get into the meat and potatoes on the subject, I don't understand why most people are forced to take a leave of absence from whatever they're doing, their podcast or TV shows, whatever, anytime these type of allegations come on. I know they're probably trying to avoid the media stir and just trying to avoid being in the media while this is happening. But at the end of the day, it's like you're giving them power to basically push you off of your platform for X amount of days or weeks. It's like, why would he take a break? He knows that he alleges that it's completely false, and he denies the claims. And his friends are standing up for him a lot more than you've seen with Chris D'Elia and other people in the past getting accused for things, because Bryan does not see, he just from all his friends' accounts, he seems like he's not the type of person to ever do anything wild like that. And when you listen to the claims, let me pull up the claims of what exactly these people are alleging against him, because some of this stuff is kind of just like, I don't understand. Okay, so the first one said that it was back in 1999, a former cast member of Mad TV. I'm not going to say her name because I feel like a lot of these, like, I'm going to give my personal opinion about this. A lot of this shit seems like some weird type of clout chasing because they're not really actually charging him criminally. They're just coming out and saying that these allegations or these things happened. This girl from 1999 said that she was uncomfortable during an engagement that they had together and that she felt like he was moving forward, but she never actually voiced or said no or did any of that type of stuff. It was like an uncomfortable sexual interaction. And I'm like, okay, so if you have sex with the person and you don't want to do it, or you're having some sort of reluctancy to actually do stuff but you don't voice it, how is that rape? And this is 21 years later. This girl said she felt empowered by the shit that happened with Theo Von to actually speak up after 21 years of being silent. And it's like, okay, I said this before. I'm not being a rape apologist or trying to side with people that could have sexually assaulted people. But if you're sexually assaulted, we don't want, like, speak up way quicker than 21 years. Like, I'm not saying, oh, speak up immediately because people have traumatic issues dealing with things, but 21 years later, you're giving nobody a chance to evaluate what happened accurately. This happened in 1999, and it wasn't straight up rape. It wasn't forcible rape. It was an uncomfortable sexual interaction. How is anybody going to take that and be like, okay, we're going to hold this against Bryan Callen? It's 21 years later. We can't even get all the facts and the details, and the stories are going to be kind of fucked up because it's 21 years later. At some point, you have to be accountable for your own actions. Like, you're a grown-ass woman. I don't understand this 21 years later shit. One of these girls that are accusing Bryan Callen said that she had an affair with him for 4 years during his marriage. That's like you're trying to throw him under the bus. You're trying to out him, but you had a 4-year affair, but sexual assault. Like, nah. For me, I'm out on that one. I'm not even hearing any more details. That's absolute bullshit to me. I'm sorry. I'm just not buying that. 4-year fucking nah, get out of here. If you don't get that bullshit out of my face. Next girl said that Bryan Callen in 2017 offered her some more stage time and possibly a role on a TV show because she's an aspiring actress. If she would give him head or something, and that's one of the other sexual accusations. And I'm like, okay, all of this shit is weak, and I feel like there's some big conspiracy or big plan to take out a lot of these entertainers and celebrities and comedians, because this shit is just wild. None of these have like real standing grounds to actually be taken seriously. And I'm not shitting on any because I feel like this does a disservice to the Me Too movement. It does a disservice to people that actually have been sexually assaulted and didn't have the power to speak up in the past or whatever, that want to speak out now, and you have allegations like this. Like, these are just baseless accusations, and it's like, where are we going with this? What type of time are these women on where they feel like, okay, 21 years later, and in my struggling career, I just want to put in, all these names are out here. All 4 of their names are, I'm not going to give them that type of exposure, putting their names on blast. Some people might say put their names on blast because they're false accusations or false accusers, but at the end of the day, you're not taking no one to court seriously. What is your point? Like, you're not actually filing a criminal case against Bryan Callen. So I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, this is a complete disservice to actual people, actual victims, and I feel like this type of shit needs to be cut out. 21 years later, you want to say something, and then a girl, oh, he offered me spots if I gave him head. That's sexual. Like, get out of here with that bullshit. Like, for me, I'm not here with that. In a 4-year relationship, I don't even have the details on the other one. I don't know why that one has no details, but I don't know, man. This shit is getting a little carried away, and I'm actually happy that they actually stood up for him. His friends stood up for him, unlike they did with Chris D'Elia. They just threw him underneath the bus, and then he had proof and evidence to actually back up himself, so he got cleared of that. But really and truly, there was no defense from his friends. But Bryan Callen, they're standing up for him because he seems like a stand-up guy. I'm not saying Chris D'Elia isn't that, but Bryan Callen doesn't seem like he's the type to actually do that type of shit. But at the end of the day, I wasn't there. I don't know. It's just when you have allegations this late after the actual offense, it's kind of like, what am I supposed to do with that? What is anybody supposed to do with that? And I don't feel like anybody should cancel him or say he's a dirtbag or he's X, Y, and Z without any more further evidence, because that's just jumping to conclusions too quick. Like, I may be jumping to a conclusion saying that he may have not done it, but I just feel like these accusations are baseless from what I'm seeing right now. So that's where I'm at with that one. What else do we got here? Okay, so Azealia Banks has been having her Britney Spears moment where she's cutting off all her hair. She recently had a statement saying that she's been going through stuff in her life in a recent breakup, so she's cutting off her hair. This is the video of her cutting off her hair. Here we go.
What was it in the world? I don't want to burn myself though. No, it's not smoking hot, but like it's getting kind of close. To make it fall for you. Do you know what I didn't on you? Oh my God, freshness. Head, yes, bitch. Shave all the fucking hair off of my head and start me fresh, bitch. Oh my God, bitches, I feel so fucking fresh and free. Now look at this. You see this like scalp burn from fucking relaxing my hair? Like, no, bitch. I'ma just be bald under these wigs.
Okay, so for anybody saying that she's completely out of her mind and she's absolutely crazy, I feel like she's just going through something. She's going through a hard time in her life. And if you look at the video, it's not like she was cutting off the most hair anyway. Her hair was really damaged from all the relaxer and all the shit she'd done to her hair. The edges were kind of pretty much gone. It's not much hair to actually cut off there. You see the damage to her scalp there. And it's like it's easier for her to apply her wigs now and put on her wigs that she was wearing over the hair anyway. So it's like, is that much of a big deal? Nah, I feel like this is kind of an overreaction for a lot of people going in and going off about this. It's like, yeah, her hair was damaged in the first place, so she's just taking it all off and restarting again. I feel like this is like a non-story, really and truly. It's not like the whole Britney Spears, I'm losing my mind, I'm melting down type of thing. It's like she had a bad breakup, her hair's in a bad place. It is what it is. Nothing that special. What else do we got here? Nicki Minaj. Okay, so Nicki Minaj's husband filed a request to be present at the birth of their child, and everybody was going in on him, thinking the reason why he had to file a request is because he's a sex offender, and they're saying, oh, you're not even allowed near your own child in a hospital and blah blah blah. That's not the reason why he had to file the request. It's because he's on curfew right now, and if the childbirth is at late hours, he will need some sort of permission from the judge to actually be able to go. So he got granted permission, so he'll be able to be there for the birth of their child. Not much more to say about this. I'm not gonna go in on Nicki's selection of men the way people are going in on her for dating this guy or having this guy as her husband or whatever. It is what it is. He got permission. Nothing much more to say about that story. People are overreacting and going in on Nicki because a lot of people hate Nicki, and they're gonna continue to pile on. So nothing much more to say about that. Terry Crews. Let's go to Terry Crews. Terry Crews has recently been getting dragged again because he went on Twitter and tried to make an acronym for Coon. He put conquer our own negativity. He tries to rechange the meaning of coon because he's getting called coon so much that he's like, okay, let me lean into it and do that. Another fail by Terry Crews. Terry Crews is much like Meek Mill. They just got to stay off of Twitter. They're always burying themselves in dumb shit, but they're just not good at social media. It's just that simple. Meek Mill's not labeled a coon or anything close to Terry Crews, but he's always getting labeled for his dumb tweets and the way he goes back and forth with women and certain things and his back and forth with academics and all that crap. So he's all constantly getting dragged. Some people are just doing disservice to their brand by being on social media. Terry Crews is definitely one of them. And it's just like, nigga, come on, man. I know you have a lot of money in a lot of white places and you're America's Next Talent or America's Top Talent, whatever the fuck the show is called. All his shows that he has to try to please his white base that he's always trying to go against black people for and stand up for his, double down and die on his cliffs about his statements. It's just like, at this point, I'm not even going to be running stories on it. Everybody knows who Terry Crews is. It's like, at this point, if Terry Crews backs your idea, people are like, nah, fuck this. I have Terry Crews backing my stuff. I got to rethink my strategy. He's become that much of a cancer to his own community where we do not fucks with him at all. It's like, damn, Terry Crews. If there was a different word to describe you, but we'll go with coon. You can't reestablish the meaning of something that's already embedded in culture for centuries or decades or however fucking long the word's been around. What else do we got here? We got some more. See, I do this all the time, and people are like, oh, this is race baiting, this is X, Y, and Z. Nah, this is just more police brutality and police ridiculousness. So let's watch this video, and then I'll get to the details of how disrespectful and how disheartening this video is to watch when you actually watch it.
Hey, Bryan, if you're not involved, please step back.
This is some bullshit. You have guns on the stage.
We're going to take care of that.
Okay, so when you watch that video, it's completely demeaning the way they're treating those young black people. And when you actually read the details of who was involved in that incident, okay, so they removed, their guns were drawn. They removed a 17-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And they had them all in handcuffs. They didn't have the 6-year-old in handcuffs. But they had the 6-year-old girl laying on the ground. All of them are crying. These are young black people. The oldest person that was present was 17 years old. And they have them, they completely demeaning themselves and just disrespecting them by having them face first on the ground in handcuffs in the middle of the street for doing nothing. They had suspicion that the black girls have stolen the car. Later, they found out that they were wrong, but they had excessive force. They had them on the ground. You had a 6-year-old face down on the ground. Like, where did they do that? Where have you ever seen this treatment done to white folks or any other type of folks? They always disrespecting young black people like this. You have young black people, nobody over the age of 18, in a vehicle that was owned by possibly their parents. We don't know. It was not a stolen vehicle. That's all we know. And we know that they did absolutely nothing wrong. And this type of disrespect is still like happening. It's like, what kind of fuck shit is this? Like, I don't know where they teach these cops how to fucking handle and fucking de-escalate situations, but this is escalating a situation and demeaning and disrespecting young black citizens all over the country. This happened in Aurora, Colorado. It's like, how much more disrespect do we have to take as a community? It's like, when I see shit like this, I'm like, yo, this is absolutely outrageous. And then people want to act like everybody's just race baiting and oh, black people are being victims and blah, blah, blah. All the racist fucks that you see in the comment section and shit. It's like, fuck out of here with that bullshit. We have video after video after video of proof of how the fuck the police handle black people. And they target young black people all the fucking time, trying to get them in the system for some bullshit, suspicion that they stole the car, and they have a fucking family of people there, a 6-year-old in the car, 17-year-old driver. It's like, when you see this type of shit, it's like, nah, niggas ain't race baiting. We ain't out here race baiting. We ain't bitching about no fucking bullshit. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. How would you feel if this was your auntie? I mean, you're not your auntie, like your fucking little sister, your child or whatever, your family members getting treated like this? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's offensive. It's like, the cops think, how would they feel if their 6-year-old child was on the fucking floor getting treated like a fucking criminal along with a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 17-year-old? It's like, what kind of shit is that? They're helpless youths that don't really understand their rights completely, and they're getting demeaned and disrespected by cops like this. Like, this shit is absolutely outrageous. Something needs to be done about this. Like, there needs to be some complete police reform. It's like, and then people want to misrepresent what defund the police means. They act like, oh, black people want the police to be completely defunded so the streets can be wild and people can kill each other and do this and that, and there'll be no police on the fucking, like, we don't mean to get rid of all the fucking police. What we need is police reform, and defund the police means we don't want all these extra units of police officers and these special units that aren't just the normal division. Like, they spend a lot of money, they take money out of the healthcare, out of education, out of all that shit, and pour money into police resources to have them having these wild fucking tanks and all these creative fucking police cars on the floor, on the force. They have TAV units. TAV units is like some sort of specialty Toronto unit that they have that harasses people. That's not a division. It's not like the 42 division. They're not numbered divisions that really police certain regions. They're extra fucking special units that come and harass people and card people and do all sorts of fuck shit. That's what we mean. We mean by defund the police. Get rid of all those fucking extra pieces of shit that disrespect and harass people, and all the extra money they use for their unnecessary vehicles and their unnecessary weaponry that they have provided to the force. It's not get rid of all police officers so the streets will be anarchy. They're misrepresenting the point because defund the police isn't the best slogan. It's not. It's not one of those slogans that you read and it's like, okay, a straightforward, we understand what the fuck you mean, because a lot of idiots out here don't want to understand what you mean, and you have to have your slogan completely representing what you mean without an explanation. So that is a bad slogan, but at the end of the day, do a little research, do a little homework to actually see what the fuck motherfuckers mean when we're saying that type of shit. Because it's fucking annoying the way they constantly want to misrepresent our messages, like taking a knee is disrespect to the flag and all that shit. They're just constantly misrepresenting and going after and chasing certain issues so they don't have to deal with the real issue. That's what all these racist fucks do. They don't want to see liberation and freedom for black people. They don't want black people to live normal fucking lives like regular citizens. They want us to be treated like animals and disrespected. And then we're bitching and we're complaining and we're victims for all the shit we point out. It's like, fuck off. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. It's like these cops continue to violate people. And it's not, for me, it's like, when you see other people getting disrespected out of the race, like not black people, it's always people that are standing up for black people. Like a Black Lives Matter protest, you see white folks getting assaulted too and getting thrown into the same type of treatment black people do. There's unmarked cars in America, police units, unmarked units that you can't tell. There's no way in fucking hell you can look at that and be like, okay, that's a police car. And they're pretty much snatching up people and fucking kidnapping folks. There's a video of some, okay, let me show the video. See, there's no way to the naked eye you can tell that's a police fucking vehicle. There's no way. But yet the police force gets funded for all these extra unmarked cars. And they're snatching up this woman. They're making an arrest. That's why the citizens had to put the license plate and all that shit. And everybody has to try to take videos of what's going on. They snatched up this woman and threw her in a car. This is one of many videos that I have of police unmarked cars pretty much kidnapping people. We don't know where the fuck they're taking that woman. We don't know what the fuck they're doing with that. They could be sex trafficking for all the fuck we know. We don't know what the fuck's going on. You're in an unmarked car doing who the fuck knows what. Like, that type of shit needs to stop. Like, it's good that we get all this shit on fucking tape or on video, but at the end of the day, something needs to be something has to happen to these officers. They need to be held accountable for their actions, and we're not getting any type of justice. These videos come out and they get thrown under the rug. And then they move on to the next wild thing Trump says in the media, and then they use that to cover up all the shit. It's like, what type of justice is that? Like, I don't understand. What's going to happen to those cops for those type of movements? They're kidnapping people all over the fucking country, throwing them in unmarked cars and doing whatever the fuck they want to them. We don't know what the fuck happens to these people. All these stories get shoved under the rug. It's ridiculous out here. Police brutality, police, all sorts of fuck shit. And then it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. What else do we got here? Okay, so designer came out and said COVID-19 is fake. This corona shit's fake. I ain't get sick yet.
If you don't get that bullshit out of my face, bitch.
When I look at stuff like that, I'm like, okay, this nigga can't be serious. I feel like this is some sort of clout chasing. You're trying to steal a headline because just because you didn't get sick, there's no corona. How many people have tested positive? How many people you know got sick from this shit? It's like, are you kidding me? At this point in the whole pandemic, you're going to say it's fake. They're going to do all this test. They're going to fuck up the economy. They're going to tank the economy from a disease that came from China. The whole world's devastated by it, but it's fake. At this point, after all the details and all the facts came out, at this point, it's fake. Designers reaching for headlines. This is clout chasing at its best because at the end of the day, when was the last time designer was discussed on anything? When was the last time designer had headlines for anything? This is clout chasing at its best, but some people don't care about the negative backlash they get from clout chasing. They just want to be spoken about. So here you go, motherfucker. That's a dumbass statement, especially at this point, but it is what it is. I don't even remember the last designer song I heard or knew. I don't hate the kid, but it is what it is. Dumbass statement. Okay, so this is outrageous too. This 16-year-old girl is a sex trafficking victim. She's facing life in prison in Texas because her trafficker killed her purchaser.
If you don't get that bullshit out of my face, bitch.
Shit getting out of hand now.
Her trafficker killed her purchaser, and she's getting life in prison. And she's a sex trafficked victim or sex trafficking victim. We need some complete like law reform. Like, what, I don't even understand where to start with this. Like, how the fuck does that work? What is one to even say about that shit? How does that work? You're a sex trafficking victim. Your trafficker kills your purchaser. You get charged, and you're facing life in, like, what? You don't get that bullshit the fuck out of my face. What the fuck kind of bullshit is that, man? If anything is stupid in this show, or if there's anything that you want to look at in this episode and be like, okay, that's wildly, flagrantly dumb, this is it, because I don't understand that. I don't even know how to break that down. I don't even know where to begin. That's so stupid. Jeez. Okay, what else do we got here before I wrap this shit up? Vado chokes Tahiry. I know people seen this clip popping up from Marriage Bootcamp where Vado got up and he choked Tahiry, and Tahiry was throwing apples at him or whatever, and then he tried to come out with his statement saying he's wrong, but, you know, she was the aggressor at first and she threw apples at him and blah, blah, blah. When it comes to these domestic disputes, women, keep your hands to yourself. Men, keep your hands to yourself. Even if a woman starts the dispute with throwing stuff, at the end of the day, you're a grown-ass man. Remove yourself from the situation. She's not right for throwing the apples, but you're definitely wrong for putting your hands on her regardless of her throwing apples in your face. Can't be putting your hands on women. That's like a beta man move right there. Like, take your ass out of your relationship. Move yourself away from the situation. I know you're mad. You got apples tossed in your face. It is what it is, though. Move on. That's a woman. You don't put your hands on women. I'm not going to ever sit up here and advocate men putting their hands on women. They talk about, oh, but she was the aggressor at first. Well, remove yourself from the situation. You could have easily removed yourself from the situation. If you know she's abusive, remove yourself from the relationship. Don't stay with toxic women in toxic relationships. Like, just remove yourself and keep it pushing, because you got all the negative backlash for this incident, and rightfully so. You should have not got up and draped her. He didn't really choke her. He just seemed like he grabbed her shirt or whatever, and he was getting physical with her, but it looked awful on the show, and it's not a good look for you to get aggressive and physical with women. So I can't stand up for that. I'm pretty much wrap up the show. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Share the clips that you fucks with. Share the episodes you fucks with. It's helping with the growth. My page is growing dramatically. Shout out to all my supporters and my subscribers. Y'all the real MVP out here. Yeah, Blunt Talk with LT. Yeah.